From immigration enforcement to the Epstein files, the president's top officials faced a lot of questions.
Will you commit, yes or no, to immediately unmasking every agent conducting immigration enforcement and requiring them to wear standard uniforms with identifiable badges?
No.
Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true.
Joining the group chat now, Republican Congressman Mike Haridopolos of Florida. Thank you so much for being with us. One of the reasons why I wanted to hear from a lawmaker from Florida is because, in a way, that's where all this started, right? The plea deal that Epstein got, where he ended up with just like a prostitution charge, right, given the scale of what we know now. For you, do you think that, for instance, the state and federal prosecutors, do you think anybody like that from Florida should be brought to testify?
Look, I think the more information, the better. This is a despicable situation. And what a person who preys on young boys and girls, disgusting in my mind. And as a father of 3, and to see this person manipulated people through all different means, as one, I think, article came out where he's like almost a concierge to the stars. He played to their ego, and sadly, it worked.
Do you think the administration is being fully transparent? The survivors of Epstein's crimes, a lot of them are saying they are not.
Well, let's just be clear about where we're at and why. For 4 years, no one cared. Ro Khanna, no interest. Massey in our party, I guess he's still in our party, had no interest in this issue. Suddenly, the president comes in. We're here because Donald Trump kept this issue alive. And I've actually talked to some of the people who are involved in the acquisition of all this material. It's voluminous. I'm talking millions and millions of pages.
But can I stop you there? You are, in fact, here because Donald Trump kept this issue alive. And now people don't believe his administration is following through on its promises of transparency.
Well, I think they've released millions of pages and to try to take in all of this volume is challenging. I still think there's a legitimate issue. There's some people who didn't want their name out there who were victims, not the people who perpetrated it.
And their names were released. Some of their images were released.
That's the frustrating part for all this.
So make it make sense for a victim who says, well, wait a second, out of all the things that have been released, it's been a couple of our names, a couple of our bodies, and meanwhile, there are redacted names of men who may have been co-conspirators. Those things are still under wraps.
Well, I think this is how you deal with a massive case like this. I mean, again,
but do you feel the disparity? For them, they're like, wait, the only thing that's happened is I've been revealed. No,
well, again,
men haven't been revealed.
I'm very happy to hear everyone has found religion on this because no one gave a crap for 4 years. The Democrats said nothing to see here, nothing to see here, and now they took it on. We're here, and we're getting the information out. This is a huge amount of information, and there's going to be mistakes when you have this much information out there, and it looks like some folks are finally being called on the carpet for it, which I think is good. This was just a matter of time. If you're involved in this, especially in a nefarious way, guess what? You're going to be exposed, whether it be today, a week from now, or a month from now, as they handle this massive load of information.
Should Lutnick have to answer more questions?
Well, I think he's answering them, and I think he's going to have to continue to answer him. I hope he's being candid about it because in Washington, we all know eventually all the facts are going to come out. Might as well tell the truth early and often.
Congressman, respectfully, it took a forced bipartisan vote for the information to be released, and now there was tremendous pressure in order for DOJ to continue to release the file. So it wasn't like the campaign promises made by Vance and others who said we're going to release the files, they're on my desk. It wasn't like they just willy-nilly decided to release them. There's a forced effort. But here's my direct question for you. Will the information that is found in the files, will Republicans take an honest oversight approach and hold folks accountable when they find out that there may be people in the Republican circles that are in the files in a disgusting way?
Well, I think the fact that Lutnick is now out there is that he's a big player in the Trump administration. It's out there. But again, I got to go back to why didn't we have this conversation on CNN for 4 years when Joe Biden was president? Why not? I don't understand that.
Republicans campaigned on wanting to do this.
No
one asked for this.
For 4 years, no one cared. I looked it up because I asked.
The thing people are confused about is the plea deal. The plea deal itself, the thing that started this whole scandal, It happened before Biden. It happened under Trump. We're back at Trump, where people like Kash Patel typed it up in his book. This is a problem. It should be transparent.
And again,
I
this
feel
is
like,
unprecedented what we're doing right here, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, millions of
so
pages
you
have been
say
released.
you deserve points
I'm
for
not-
participation.
look, I don't
It feels
think-
like points for
I don't
participation.
I don't want any points on anything. This,
Yeah.
I wish this thing never happened. This is what's happened to these boys and girls is horrific. And these people who manipulated the system, Epstein manipulated people on their ego. This isn't all an ego play. He's a concierge to the stars. He gets in planes or fancy island trips.
Yeah.
And these people are suckers and played it.
But
and,
I
and
think
I'm
what
glad to see
Antoine
the
is asking
exposures
you
out.
is if it's someone like Les Wexner, right, who's a Republican donor, like, do you feel like that needs to be a conversation? Is it nonpartisan accountability or not?
Well, I think what is happening right now is accountability. I mean, it's finally happening.
In
It just
what
didn't
way?
happen before. I mean, millions of pages of documents, people have been exposed, and I think that's a good thing. This is something where when people do something wrong, you're going to pay the political consequences
I
for
would
it.
say
In some
lots of
cases,
people are
criminal.
looking at Europe and seeing accountability there. And over here, they're seeing mild embarrassment for some men in some cases. It's not taking down a government. Ask Keir Starmer.
Well, again, the whole goal here, they thought they were going to get Donald Trump. And, they
And
didn't
Bill
get him.
Clinton. And they haven't
Bill
gotten
Clinton
him
still
yet.
hasn't testified, so we'll have
So
to wait on that one. He's agreed
Okay.
to. It's a start. Again, it'll be interesting to see what he says.
Let me talk about something else that was fascinating watching the ICE hearings yesterday, because you had CPB and other leaders trying to justify the tactics, which I know that you have supported, of ICE over the last couple of weeks. And we're at the point now where Democrats are going to be saying, look, if we can't get some accountability or some changes with ICE, we are not going to vote. We're not going to vote to continue funding DHS, which means that funding for DHS could shut down as soon as Friday. Is that something you think Republicans should negotiate to prevent?
Well, first of all, we're the ones who are keeping the government open. You saw the civil war taking place with the Democrats last week, where they couldn't get along between the House and Senate. But that said, we're keeping the government open. 96% is open. We've already funded ICE for years to come, so that's not the issue here. We are just putting in jeopardy is FEMA, the Coast Guard, TSA agents, which would be a shame. But that's
So how long would you hold out? Last year's partial
again,
shutdown went something like 43 days. I mean,
Well,
how should we expect that again?
Well, do you expect us to say we should start continuing to dox these agents? I mean, these agents aren't bad guys. These are persons who are following the federal law. They're dealing with unique situations. And let's be clear also, where are these problems happening? They're happening in a couple of cities, primarily in Minnesota. Just last week, there in West Virginia, rounded up a whole bunch of illegal aliens. No problem at all, because local law enforcement actually supported the effort.
Here's where there becomes a problem for you. Among independents, the question, Fox News poll, do you think ICE is being too aggressive in its deportation effort? 71%. The message you are saying is not reaching that voter.
I would say this too. What do you all cover? You cover the chaos. And that's
You
what
mean 2 people dead? Because yes, I will cover that.
No, they cover the chaos. Well, what about Laken Riley, Jocelyn Ungari, Rachel Moore, and Amama 5? Why don't you guys cover that a little more?
One of the
because
things
it's
I
a
think
it's a
people are
big deal to
hearing
people. It's the
is
number one
a-
issue in politics in 2024.
It turns out it's
was
the
illegal
economy,
immigration.
actually, right now.
Again, right now, the number one issue in 2024 was illegal immigration. We have solved that problem. The border is secured. We're rounding up hundreds of thousands of, not people who just came here illegally, but broke the law once here. Murder, rape, drug use, you
Is
name
there
it. That's
any?
a big deal.
You just said the funding is secure, right? It's going to be one of the largest military apparatus in this country. Should it have any reining in? Should it have any
Well, here's the-
strings?
A couple things that I think Republicans already agreed to. One is the idea that there should be body cameras. I want to see what an ICE agent has to go through in order to apprehend a violent criminal and what's going on and what that person is seeing. I think that's good, and we funded that in the bill. Second part of that is we want more training for these officers because they're facing a chaotic situation they did not anticipate, because every other part of the country are cooperating to get the bad guys off the street, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay, we're going to see if any more of those demands from Democrats get a hearing this week, and in that debate, we're talking about that for this Friday.